Okay, everybody, I have so much for you today in this segment. I was going to go live, can't do it. Weather's really bad. So here we go. My name is Sam. I'm going to deep dive these California fires. Let's start with this. Blue plastic trash cans not burning. That's important. And this is a laser weapon
for different wavelengths,
burning everything but blue. So what am I trying to tell you folks? If you start seeing a lot of blue material, blue umbrellas, blue t-shirts, blue roofs, blue cars, blue trash cans going unburned, then maybe possible it was this. A lot of you told me you had seen a post from somewhere between 2022 and 2023 saying that between 20 and 30 years, large parts of America would basically be unlivable. Everywhere but the Gulf Coast, which is where I live, and Canada, right? Well, here is that clip.
Devastating families taking lives. I am completely haunted by this tweet and map that I will insert into this video that I saw on Twitter in October of 2022 that literally writes off large portions of the global south and marks them as being uninhabitable in about 20 to 30 years. Now, what sticks out is that Canada looks like it is one of the, if not the most habitable place on the face of the planet in about 20 to 30 years. Now, mind you, this map was released in October of 2022. By January 2023, January 1st to be exact, Canada made it illegal for all non-citizens to buy residential properties in Canada. Coincidence? I think not. It's almost as if they know what's coming and they don't want everybody running into their country as a safe haven. What do you think?
A few days ago, I told you guys Trump knows what he's doing. No wonder he wants to get Greenland as well as Canada under the American flag. It is starting to make a little bit more sense. And no, it's not a conspiracy theory to say that Los Angeles was slated to be a smart city by 2028, folks. Now, my question is, how would you get a city like Los Angeles, a big, sprawling, old city, under and into the new technology and under the umbrella of a green city? With the way that it's currently set up, it would be near impossible. I mean, unless you had a clean slate, right? Watch this.
Structure, the apps, and the data tools to be a globally recognized smart city. But as technology evolves, so our smart city must evolve too. That's why we have developed our Los Angeles Smart City Strategy, known as Smart LA 2028, as a roadmap to the 2028 Summer Olympics. It includes 56 new goals that use technology to transform the way we live, work, and move around LA. Check it out here.
And why does it feel like every politician coming out of California is a card-carrying Marxist? You literally can't make this up. You had Kamala Harris, whose father wrote the book on Marxism. It won't take you but a few minutes to find out what I'm talking about if you haven't seen my older videos. Second, the mayor of Los Angeles is, again, a card-carrying Marxist.
Weakened democracies and spread communism around the world. Founded in 1969, the Venceremos Brigade organized trips to Cuba every year for half a century. They attracted the most radicalized and delusional segments of the American left, including overtly Maoist and pro-Soviet communist groups. In fact, a Los Angeles police investigator who infiltrated the group testified to Congress saying that to be a member of the brigade, you had to be confirmed as a Marxist-Leninist. As a brigadista and then moving up the ranks to organizer for the Venceremos Brigade, Karen Bass visited Cuba every 6 months. Their mission? To radicalize young, impressionable American leftists in terrorist tactics and guerrilla warfare.
I mean, the woman is a complete idiot. We'll play a clip of her getting back from Africa on the airport yesterday, and just not saying I'm sorry for those that have died in the fires. We're working on it. Thank you. She just goes, no comment. I can't, and just runs scared because she hadn't been told what to say yet. I mean, look at that woman.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? I appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
And if you know anything about how hard it is to be a firefighter, how much physical strength and stamina it takes to be a firefighter, then you're going to understand why this really irked me.
That responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
And how often does it happen that you need someone to get your husband out of a fire? Actually, it's more common than you realize.
Of the house, firefighters were able to successfully rescue the man and began to perform CPR. He was taken to the hospital. His condition is unknown at this time.
So I started digging around. I'm like, is there anything to this DEI hire nonsense going on with the Los Angeles Fire Department? I mean, is there a story there, or is it just people running something that they probably should leave alone? Well, folks, there is something there. First off, firefighter physical standards have been reduced so that more women can become firefighters. Now, here's the problem. I get it. We all have dreams. We grow up and we're like, wow, I want to be this when I grow up. Well, every little boy in my community wants to be an NFL football player or an NBA basketball player. But the reality is most of them or all of them will never see those dreams come true. But does that mean they should change the standards of sports teams to let in just anybody? Nobody has to meet a requirement anymore. You don't have to be a certain height to be center. You don't have to be so fast to be the running back. I mean, we're just going to let anybody play those positions? I don't think so. So when you put it into a context like that, and you go back and you think about what, and that was a woman said at the clip in the front, if your husband gets himself in a fire, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time kind of nonsense. If he needs me to rescue him, that's quite offensive. I wonder, does she realize how many people in fires are overcome by smoke and pass out and have to be carried out of the fire? I wonder, does she consider those people who are bedbound that need to be rescued because they simply can't get up and walk out? Having said that, I myself am very physically strong. I run a farm while my husband works. I can lift 50 bags of feed up onto my shoulder like they're nothing. Yet, if a full-grown man fell in front of me, there's no way I'd move him more than a few feet, folks. Now, that is the reality that I live in. Just because I wake up one morning and go, wow, I'm a woman, I have a uterus, and today I want to be a fireman, doesn't mean that the same standards that kept people safe for 200 years should be reduced so that I can see my dream fulfilled. You either meet the requirements to be the best physically or don't do it. Because a lot of people want to say, well, it's about intellect. No, it's not. Firefighting does take brains, without a doubt, but it takes brawn. And unfortunately, I think most women understand we simply are not built for that type of work. Most of us, like 95% of us, can't pass the physical test unless you reduce the standards that are required. Now, does that make you feel more safe to know that the female fireman coming to your house did not have to do what that male had to do? In fact, it's discriminatory. Yet, we have women in America that can't seem to get that through their fuzzy little brains.
In California, and the interest was that there were too many white men who were firefighters, and we need to have a program in California to make sure we don't have enough white men as firefighters. So we have DEI, we have budget cuts, and yet I'm wondering now, if your house is burning down, how much do you care what color the firefighters are?
You can respond and then
Listen, I am so tired. You know what? There was an article that just came out that said that actually the most educated demographic in this country right now is black women.
And maybe that's true. However, black females are also the highest percentage of food stamp recipients. I'm just saying.
So let me be clear. Because you are a woman, or because I know that some of the right has been sharing these photos of the fact that I believe that the fire chief may be a woman.
No, sweetheart. We're talking about the fact that she has been touted as the first LGBTQ female Los Angeles Fire Department. Plus, she cut part of the budget to move that money over to DEI, hiring preferential for LGBTQ and women. I'm just saying, that's what we're talking about, not the fact that she's a woman.
Or something. That has nothing to do with it. We are looking at qualifications.
So why can't you get it through your fluffy head that women can't meet the qualifications unless they're reduced? Why is that so hard for an intellectual woman to understand?
What diversity, equity, and inclusion has always been about is saying, you know what? Open this up. Don't just look at the white men. Open it up and recognize that other people can be qualified.
Then meet the requirements that are in place. Because see, those standards and requirements were put in place before nonsense like DEI. Now, I know a lot of you are going to want to tell me that it was men who set those standards, but they set those standards to something called safety regulations, guys, to safety. Now, any standards and regulations and qualifications are set to flexibility so that everybody who wants to be anything can be that. That's not reality. That's like your child coming up to you and telling you they're a puppy when they're 4, but they're still a puppy when they're 14. It isn't reality.
And the fact that we want to, at a time when people are dying, decide that a country of immigrants is failing, or people are dying because the same very people that built this country, because the last time I checked, y'all didn't say that anything was wrong with the White House, and I can promise you it was my ancestors that built the White House. So
there it is. There it is. Trump card. She tossed out her Trump card. She could not make a coherent argument for women being firefighters for this DEI nonsense without Trump carding.
If we have been good enough to build this country, we are good enough to serve and die overseas, we are good enough to serve in other ways. And the fact that people actually decide that they want to engage in public service, whether it's sitting in Congress or whether it's serving on the fire department or the police department, should not be an issue. The fact is, stop trying to act as if only white men are the ones that are capable. Because right now you're sitting at a table with 3 very capable black women.
Now, in all honesty, did she make a good argument for why we should not be discussing Los Angeles's DEI hires for the fire department? No. She mixed up a whole bunch of emotion and facts about building the White House. I'm not sure how that even applies to firefighting. I don't even understand. She confused me from start to finish, but I can tell you this. Those 3 capable, intelligent black women would make terrible firefighters. Why? Because they're all shortish and none of them are physically competent to do the job. I am not physically competent to do the job. I'm just saying, if a bunch of women pull up on a fire truck to put out the fire at my house, I'm not going to feel more comfortable because they look like me. I'd be a whole lot happier to see a bunch of 6'2" broad-shouldered men climbing off of that fire truck. I'd be like, yes, we are saved. But if I saw a bunch of 5'6" mixed women of all colors getting out the fire truck, I'd be like, well, there goes. It's all held to the handbag because they can't do it. They can barely hold the hoses. They surely aren't going to be able to climb a ladder and throw someone over their shoulder and climb back down with them. They aren't capable. Oh, Lord, y'all, I'm going to drink my coffee. Like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you're seeing about these fires, but I can tell you this. Los Angeles is pretty much scrapped, folks. Nobody is able to get insurance. I'm not sure what else is going on, but they sent out a false evacuation order last night, not once, but twice.